All right, so the DNC has already announced the requirements for the January debates. As you know, we just had the 6th Democratic debates in Los Angeles, California. 7 of the candidates were there. All right, we had Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Tom Steyer. It was a bit better than before. It wasn't as big a soundbite frenzy as usual with 10 people on stage. What an abomination. However, I would prefer it if it was down to 2 or 3 candidates. So let's take a look at the new requirements for the January Democratic debates. The Democratic National Committee is again raising the thresholds to participate in the party's next presidential debate, despite calls from some candidates who have been excluded to weaken the qualifying criteria. In order to qualify for the next debate on January 14th, candidates must earn at least 5% in 4 qualifying polls released between November 14th and January 10th, or 7% in 2 polls conducted in one of the 4 early voting states on the nominating calendar: Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, or South Carolina. The polling thresholds for Thursday night's PBS NewsHour Politico debate in Los Angeles, those are the ones that we saw last night, were 4% in all surveys and 6% in early state polls. Additionally, candidates must receive donations from 225,000 individuals, up from 200,000 for Thursday's debates, with a minimum of 1,000 donors in at least 20 states. Okay, so for the debates last night in Los Angeles, you needed, for the donor threshold, 200,000 individual donations. Now it's going to be 225,000 individual donations. And for the polling threshold, you needed 4%. Now that's going to go up to 5%. And you needed 6% in early state polls. That's up to 7% now. Okay, so 1 percentage point in both cases. The qualification deadline is January 10th, 4 days before the debate, hosted by CNN and the Des Moines Register at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. 5 candidates have already qualified for the debate, according to Politico's tracking of public polling and donor information: Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. Biden, Buttigieg, Sanders, and Warren have all previously said they have over 225,000 donors. Yeah, Bernie Sanders has over 4 times that. He has over 1 million individual donors. All right, try to keep up. On Friday morning, a spokesperson for Cloud Boot Jar also tweeted that she is qualified for the debate, meaning she has hit that donor mark as well. I would love to know who these people are that are donating to this prehistoric fish who shouldn't be on the debate stage. I mean, she had more talking time than Bernie Sanders last night. Okay, what the hell? You're polling at 3%? Who are you? You shouldn't be here, you centrist clown. Additionally, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, who bought his way into the election just like Tom Steyer, who has only been in the race for about a month, has already hit the polling threshold. Who is polling for this guy? Seriously, I really think that these things are bought. I mean, I cannot believe that most people have heard of this guy. I cannot believe that. But Bloomberg, whose net worth has been valued at more than $50 billion, isn't accepting donations and won't be able to meet the donor threshold for the January debates without them. Good. I can't say that we'll miss him, you know? The arrogance. I'm so rich, I don't need donations. Yeah, well, good. We don't need you on the debate stage either. Goodbye. Andrew Yang has also publicly said that he's cleared the raised donor threshold, but he has only accrued 1 of the 4 required polls to be on stage. Tom Steyer, the last remaining candidate to participate in Thursday's PBS debate, has 2 of the 4 polls needed and has not publicly said he's hit 225,000 donors. How can I put this politely? Good riddance. I really don't care about Tom Steyer or about Andrew Yang being on the debate stage. I think even with 5 people, it's still too much. We really need to get rid of Cloud Boot Jar and Buttigieg and thin it down to Warren, Biden, and Sanders. Matter of fact, get rid of Biden too. All right. The real battle of ideas here between progressives is Bernie Sanders and Warren. These are the 2 we really need to put a magnifying glass on and do a fine lens comparison. Okay. This is what needs to be done. We're sick of comparing progressives to centrists. We know centrists suck. We don't need them and we don't want them. We're trying to find out who's the best progressive candidate here to lead the Democratic Party back to its roots instead of kissing corporate ass for the next century. All right? Booker and Castro have increasingly been critical of the debate process after the pair was excluded from the last debate of the year. Yeah, now there's this argument being made that the entire debate stage is white. Okay, the only person of color is apparently Yang, although, Bernie Sanders is Jewish, so why aren't you mentioning that? That's also important. The first Jewish president, right? Now, me, being an Arab, being a brown man, being a person of color, I'm more concerned with policy. I want to know, do you support the working class or do you support corporations? Who are you going to really serve when you get into office? That's what I'm concerned with, all right? Policy over identities, man, every single time. Booker's campaign pressured the DNC to lower, not raise the thresholds for future debates. What kind of crack are you smoking, man? There's too many people on the stage as it is. We can't have 10 people on the stage again, yo. He, Castro, and 7 candidates on stage Thursday all signed a letter urging DNC Chairman Tom Perez to allow for candidates to qualify by hitting either a donor or polling threshold, not both. Look, man, these guys are fringe candidates, okay? They're polling at like 0 or 1% or 2%. You got to go, man. It's time for you to drop out. Kamala Harris dropped out and she was doing better than y'all. So what the hell are you still doing in the race? What the hell is still Amy Klobuchar doing in the race? How did Kamala drop out but she's still here? That don't make no goddamn sense, and we're sick of it. She's just a centrist, albeit an honest one, but nonetheless a centrist. And I'll be really honest, I'm pretty sure Tom Perez doesn't give two shits what anyone thinks, all right? The DNC is going to be the DNC, man. At the time, the DNC pushed back against the letter, and the new thresholds confirmed that they didn't consider lowering the bar to be on stage. Booker said in a fundraising email last week that he had over 234,000 donors, but he is unlikely to clear any polling threshold. How can I put this nicely, man? If you're seeing that you're polling at 2% or 3%, it may be time to throw the towel in. Like, at what point is it going to register in your brain that, this really isn't for me? Okay? The primary is like 2 months away, man. You have a deadline at hand. It's not like you don't have a deadline. You have a deadline at hand. You're not cutting it, man. Okay? Now, some people might have said the same thing when it was Bernie Sanders against Hillary Clinton. Like, who is Bernie Sanders, right? You're a nobody. Hillary Clinton is the first lady, secretary of state, senator from New York, a juggernaut, senior establishment figure. But as time went on, it was proven that he did stand a chance. I mean, most polls were like neck and neck, literally. Okay? And Bernie Sanders ended up winning half the states. So I don't think that's a fair comparison here, Now you have so many more candidates, and it's clear who the frontrunners are. It's Warren, Biden, and Sanders. Everyone else needs to get out, especially the ones that are polling at 2%, man. It's really not for you. It's really not for you. You're not offering anything new. You're just another centrist. We got a lot of centrists as it is. It's time for progressives to take back the Democratic Party. The real comparison here needs to be between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. That's what the debates should be. We don't need Biden or Booty Juggalo or any of these clowns. Now, with that said, I am very pleased to hear that it's down to 5 candidates now, and I hope it gets even less. All right, I think 5 candidates, you can have a good debate, much better than 10 candidates or 7, but still 5 is a bit too much. But still, I'm happy, and I hope it stays that way. It's too much otherwise, man. It is really too much. It's no time to compare these candidates. There's way too much going on. And it's not fair to the voters. It's not fair to the voters, all right? So we'll see what happens until then. I hope it stays that way, where it's just Warren, Biden, Sanders, Klobuchar, and Booty Juggalo. And I really hope no one else qualifies because it's already too much. Please. And voters can't effectively compare what's going on. So we'll see what happens. But there you go. Just wanted to give you this bit of news.